Hi, welcome back to Daydreams of Quilts on YouTube. Today I am making the Manhattan zippered case tutorial by Emmaline Bags. This is a free pattern and I'll link to it in the description. And this is what the finished pouch looks like. I'm making them as wristlets and I'm using cork. We'll get started and you can sew along with me. Okay, so head to the link in the description and download your pattern. Cut out your pattern pieces, and we're going to be using Shapeflex 101 interfacing, which I have cut out here to interface my lining pieces. So I'll head over to the iron and do that in a moment. But I've also cut out the front of the bag, the back of the bag, the zipper tabs. You're going to need 2 matching zippers, hardware to attach the strap itself, and the strap anchor, and this is just a scrap piece. So that's what you're going to need to make your bag. So you're going to put your interfacing to your fabric, you're going to put your lining fabric face down and put your interfacing on top with this rougher side with the glue side down onto your lining. If you're not using cork, you will also need interfacing for your exterior pieces, and the pattern recommends fusible fleece for that. Zippers, they need to be exactly 7 inches. So mine are a little bit longer than that, so I need to trim them down. So I'm just going to cut off this end with the metal stop first and put that at the 7-inch line. Make sure you don't cut off your zipper pull. I have done that and it is so frustrating. So make sure it's on the side of the zipper that you're keeping before you cut. And same with this one. And don't use your best sewing scissors for this. Okay, so now we can put our tabs on. Now the tabs instructions in the pattern are different than how I'm doing it. I just cut a 1-inch square of cork. I'm folding it in half and putting it on the end of my zipper, and I'm going to stitch on each end to attach my zipper tabs. If you're using fabric for your tabs, then follow the instructions in the pattern. I like to use cork because then I don't have to interface it. It saves me a little bit of money on interfacing. All right, I'm gonna sew my tabs on. Okay, so the first thing we wanna do is go back and forth over the open end to hold the zipper together. So we'll do that for each zipper. Okay, and then we're going to put our tabs onto the ends. Just make sure they're even on top and bottom. And then we can top stitch so that we have it sewn down. Oops. Okay, so do that for both ends of both your zippers. Okay, and I also make the strap at the beginning. because I don't like to get to the end of a bag project and be like, oh, I'm finished, yay, and then, oh, I still have to make the straps. So I just put my strap pieces right sides together. I have cut them at 1/2 inch wide. And I'm just lengthening my stitch a little bit. So I'm just gonna sew them both together on each side. So this is the part that's gonna hold the D-ring. So I've got my 1/2 inch D-ring. I'll just slide this through, and then I'm just gonna stitch across the end here to hold it together. And then I will do the same for the longer wrist strap part. Which I cut 13 inches long and 1/2 inch wide, 2 strips of cork. And I used to clip all the way down, but I found that it just was getting all uneven. So it works better for me to just hold it together here. I have 28 weight Orful thread in the top and just a regular bobbin thread in the bottom. But my bobbin thread does not match as nicely as the top thread, so I'm going to make sure that my swivel clasp here is on the nicer side, not the side with the gray thread, the side with the brown thread. And then I'm going to just put the two ends right sides together and use a 1/4 inch seam to sew them together. And then I'll turn it right side out, slide my swivel down to that seam, my swivel clasp, and then I'll just fold the seam in towards the clasp like this and top stitch across the top. And maybe again right over here. Okay, so our wrist strap is done for when we get to the end of the bag. So next we're going to make the small pocket, the outer pocket. So take a lining piece and a zipper and put the zipper wrong side down, right side up, and center it on the pocket or the pocket lining. And then you're going to take your exterior pocket piece and put it right sides down and clip these together. Let's just make sure everything is lined up with the top edge. So I'm going to just use wonder clips to hold it together. Oops. Okay, so we'll go to the sewing machine and sew that zipper seam. You can switch out to your zipper foot if you want. I always just, or very often, I just keep my regular Juki foot on because it's narrow enough for me. Okay, and when you feel the zipper head coming up, just stop with your needle down and slide the zipper head back. Okay, then we're gonna open this out and put the lining and the outer wrong sides together, and I'm just gonna finger press because I don't want to use my iron-on cork. Just finger press my seams away from the zipper, and then I'll switch to a 3 for top stitching, and I'll top stitch along the top. Okay, so that is the first seam, and now we'll go pin down the next pieces for the top half of it, or the top part of it. Okay, so I'm going to take my next small pocket lining piece and put it right side up, and this piece that we just finished is going right side up as well. And then this strip that goes along the top is going right side down. And we just want to make sure that we have our pieces lined up on the edges and at the top. And then I'll just wonder clip again, and then I'll head over to the sewing machine for this seam. Okay, we'll go sew this part. So I'll take my stitch length back down to about 2.5. Oh, and my zipper head is right in the way, right at the beginning. So I'll just move that down. Okay, and now this time I'm just going to turn up the outer flap. The lining is going to stay down, and then I'm going to top stitch along this flap. There we go. Okay, so now this is not lining up, right? So we need to pull this lining down and get all the edges lined up here. And this is going to mean that we need to fold our zipper tabs a little bit. Like they need to fold upwards so that we can line up right here. So we can line up with the outer top flap. We just fold the zipper and line up there like that. And then we're just going to baste around the bottom of the bag to hold all of that in place with an 1/8 of an inch seam. I'm going to attach the D-ring for the strap. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to do the other zipper. So we're going to take a large lining piece, put our zipper down. So our lining piece is right side up. Our zipper is also right side up with the zipper on the left, the zipper pull. And then we're going to take the exterior or back of the bag and put it right sides down. And just make sure that this zipper is centered on this piece. And then we're going to do the same as we did before. We're going to clip it together with Wonder Clips and sew that zipper seam and open it out and top stitch it. So I'll get that done. So we'll take this stitch length back down for putting the zipper in to 2.5. Okay, and then I'm gonna open this out and top stitch along the top of the zipper. With a 3 on my stitch length. Okay, and then we just need to go put the other side on. Okay, so we're going to put our last lining piece right side up, and this piece that we just did also right side up, and line up the edges and the top of the zipper. And then this piece is going to go right side down, and we're going to clip along the top and sew that seam, and then open it out and top stitch like we've been doing all along. So I'll get that all pinned together and we'll sew that last seam. Okay, so I'll put my stitch length back down. Okay, and then I will open this out and top stitch that last edge. If you're using fabric instead of cork, you can press your seam along your zipper, but I am just using my fingers. Put my stitch length back up to 3 for top stitching. Okay, now we're ready to put the bag together. So we're just gonna fold, well first we're gonna open this zipper all the way and make sure it's pointing towards the inside, the zipper pull. And this one will open halfway just to get it out of the way. Then we will put our lining right sides together and our outer right sides together. And we're gonna pin all the way around, or clip, and then we will sew with a 1/4 inch seam. And we're gonna leave an opening on the lining side to turn it, and we'll turn it through that zipper that we left open. Okay, so I'll get it all clipped together. Okay, here we go. And I'm gonna make my lining seam just a little bit larger than a 1/4 inch so it fits better inside the bag, which Janelle says to do in the pattern. And then I'll taper down to a 1/4 inch up here at the top. All right, and I'm gonna hand crank through here, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, it's a little bit thick. This is the side with the zipper tab. Now I'm going to widen out my seam again on the lining. Okay, and then I'm going to just turn it carefully. And push out all of those edges and get the zipper up nice out of there. I really stick my fingers right into these cork seams. There we go. So now I'm gonna take this over to the iron, and I'm gonna iron my raw edges under by a 1/4 inch, and then I'll be ready to sew that. Okay, so I've just switched out my thread to be just the gray 50 weight thread because I don't want my lining closure seam to be too noticeable. Okay, so we've closed up the lining. We just push it down into the bag. There we go. And I will just get the strap to put on there. Okay, so now we just need to clip our swivel clasp onto the D-ring. And our pouch is done. Thank you very much to Emmaline Bags for this pattern. Okay, thank you for sewing along with me today. I hope you had fun making this great free pattern from Emmaline Bags. Don't forget to give me a like. It really helps my channel out. And we'll see you in the next video. Hit the notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss it.